And we're back. And if you're joining us right now, we're just getting our first conversation for this morning started. Of course, this is the first of our interviews in our Meet the Mayoral Candidate segment. And joining us from La Isla Bonita is Waleed Nunez, who is the People's United Party's mayoral candidate for San Pedro. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Marlene. Good morning, Gavin. Good morning, Belize.
Okay. How are you doing out there in San Pedro?
Pretty good. I mean, it's a bright and early morning. It was quite a breezy morning, but we are here and happy to be awoke.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, in this segment, we usually like to start, before we get into the politics, teaching our viewers just a little bit about the person who is running. So why don't we start by talking a little bit about who Waleed Nunez is?
All right. My name is Waleed Nunez. I am the mayoral candidate representing the People's United Party. I grew up here in San Pedro all my life. I went to San Pedro High School. After graduating from San Pedro High School, I proceeded to Corozal Junior College. At that time, the junior college here in San Pedro was limited to only business, so I had to go to Corozal to do my studies with science. And after Corozal, after traveling back and forth every weekend, I really fell in love with the flying. So I went to flight school right after obtaining my associate's degree. And once at flight school, I really enjoyed the flying. So I came back here to Belize, and I have been flying with Tropicare since then, which has been 17 years. I had also been part of what they call the training department in Tropic. And I've always been actively involved in the politics as well. I have been involved since the age of 12 years old. I have been behind the political party, campaigning, going house to house with the candidates, meeting people. I think I got this from my grandparents. One of my grandfathers, he was the president of the Lions Club here on the island, and growing up with them, being around people at the Lions Club, I really enjoyed the service that they provide, and from there I was really motivated to be involved in politics.
So this is a counselor versus counselor race.
Well, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
I was a counselor back in 2012. I was elected as the only P.U.P candidate amongst 6 UDP counselors and mayor, right?
So I asked that because, the UDP mayoral candidate is a current counselor. And it's interesting when you think of going from being a part of the team to deciding that you want to lead the team. Tell us a bit about that process for you, when you were approached, or if it was something that you naturally wanted to do.
I naturally wanted to do it since at a very young age, that I've always wanted to be involved in politics and wanted to be the leader at one point. And now more than ever, I have been motivated by family, friends, and I am more than ready to be the mayoral candidate for San Pedro.
Yeah.
All right. So when you did want to, take up the leadership, talk to us a little bit about your vision for San Pedro and what you want to accomplish as mayor.
San Pedro has a lot of potential. We all know that, but it has been neglected. As you can see on the pictures, there's a lot of areas that have been neglected. The people on this island themselves have been neglected, and they're the workforce of the tourism industry here. We need to put our people first, because they're the ones that are on the front working, and the workforce of this industry. And I believe that the town needs a lot more attention, and a lot more can be done to improve our tourism product.
Yeah. So, Wally, tell us a bit about what it's like on the island right now. You know, we've seen some stories looking at the, I don't want to say rebound, but it's kind of like the restart of the tourism industry. Things are slow, and it's been a really tough year for San Pedranos.
Yes, it has been very slow. This pandemic really hit us very hard. This has been, I think, the lowest that our economy here on the island has been, and I believe the tourism sector has been the one mostly affected from everyone else on the country. And people are in need. I mean, people here on the island, a lot of people actually have gone from the ones who don't live here on the island that have families anywhere else in the country. So when we go house to house, you can see that there are some empty rooms.
Yeah.
The apartments are empty, but the ones staying here, some of them have a job, some don't. So it's a little bit tough. I mean, the our tourism has been very low, and it has impacted the island very, very badly.
And I would imagine that, you know, in your work campaigning so far, you've also gotten a chance to speak to a lot of the residents and hear a lot of their concerns. So what has that been like, and what are the major things that they've been bringing to you?
Okay, apart from what the pandemic has done to us here, even before the pandemic, we've had problems here on the island that the streets are not addressed, and also the garbage disposal has been a mess. They haven't been properly disposing of the garbage, and those are the main concerns almost in every area that we have been out campaigning, that we need to fix the streets, not only because it's election time, they're going to start and fix some of these streets that haven't been fixed for over 6-8 years. The garbage disposal, sometimes they don't pick it up for a week. All these things are minor things for some people, but for a lot of areas, it is a mess. I mean, we need to address these things because it is something very important. People need to get to work, children need to get to school, and we have a lot of stray dogs on the streets bringing down the garbage, and it's a mess. We need to take care of that. Our environment is very important as well.
Yeah. Now, I'd imagine, you know, the campaign itself is about trying to hear from people what their main concerns are. And while you identified, I think, things that are the responsibility of the municipalities, a lot of the issues that people are facing go beyond what the council would be responsible for. How are you, I mean, you can't make promises about some of the challenges that they are facing. So how are you managing with that?
Yeah, well, some of it, we know that it is central government, but now that we have a P.U.P central government, we know because we can partnership with the central government, being from the same party. Myself and the minister, which is Honorable Andrew Perez, we have a very good relationship, working relationship, that we can accomplish a lot more for the island.
And have you also been speaking to, for example, local business owners and something to see how you can possibly, you know, help the community even more, or form some partnerships to accomplish some of your goals?
Yes, definitely. We have different stakeholders here on the island that are willing to work with us. We have already met with some. Part of our campaign is to meet with as many as possible stakeholders here on the island. And they are already talking to us. They are telling us, you guys are going to win, and we want to work together with you all. So we know that having all these organizations, all these people to work with us, we can accomplish a lot more on the island, because that's part of what a community does. We need to partnership with the people.
Yeah. So talk to me about your plans. I note that you mentioned the relationship with the area representative, but we know central government is going through their own financial constraints. So what are your plans to make sure that if you're elected, the municipality will be able to finance the work that needs to be done?
Okay, to be able to finance, we need to firstly start to modernize what the council does in revenue collection. We need to create some new ideas, new innovative ideas to start an online payment plan, to start online so that you can check your bills and you can pay online. And all these things can help with the revenue collection so that we can actually collect the amount that is supposed to be collected, because there has been a very low revenue collection here in the town council. And we believe with that, we can be able to accomplish a lot more.
All right. So we spoke a little bit earlier about your previous election to the San Pedro Town Council. So why don't we talk a little bit about your team and what you guys bring, or what each of the members of your team bring to the table?
Okay, we have a very diversification of candidates here. Some of them bring a wealth of experience in different capacities of our island. So I don't know if you guys can see the slate here. We have some young and some more experienced candidates, and we have a very good team that is comprised of young and energetic ones, and at the same time we have some with some experience in community service as well. We have been working tirelessly with our campaign plans, because we have a lot of plans for the island. And this one is Adali Ayuso. She has been actively involved in pageantry here on the island. Yeah. Ernesto Bardales here, he has been in the tourism section for, I think he said about 14 or 16 years. And he's well experienced in the tourism sector. Then we have Marina Kay. She has been actively involved in community service with the Lions Club. She's a teacher by trade as well. Yeah. We also have Jose Castellanos. He is a former police officer. He is a businessman, and he has also his own company, which is a security company here on the island. We have Gianelli Aranda. She is a very people's person. She has been actively involved as well in women affairs here on the island. And she is a former council candidate as well. And we have Jania Duarte. She is also a former council candidate, and she is an environmentalist, and she loves the environment just like how we all do as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's myself as your mayoral candidate.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Wally, I think it's interesting when you look at the dynamics of what's happening in San Pedro. This has been the municipality has been managed by a UDP council for, is it 4 terms?
It has been 18 years.
Yeah, yeah. So it's trying to break what has been a very consistent trend. What makes you think you are the right person to be able to do so?
I have that connection with a lot of people here on the island. I think one of my strengths here is the communication skills with the people. And I know for a fact that we have that support from the people here on the island. And I know that the UDP has been there for so long, but we're not on a negative campaign telling them what they have done wrong, but what we can do better. Yeah. And we have been on the campaign trail, The people are ready for this change. They have started the change back in November, sorry, November 11th, when we changed to a P.U.P government. And now we are ready for a town council to be able to work in partnership with the central government.
And so talk a little bit about the actual process of campaigning that you guys have been doing. Has it been mainly house to house, or what all have you been doing to reach all of the voters of San Pedro?
Well, part of our strategy here on the island due to the pandemic, has been calling. We have a call center here for our P.U.P. We have been calling most of our electorate here. But we also do a house-to-house campaign. We try not to get into people's houses and try to maintain outside and do our campaign from outdoors. But at the same time, we're following the protocols issued by the Ministry of Health. Yeah. So we're going about with our hand sanitizers, our face masks, and keeping our distance. But the house-to-house campaign has been excellent. We have had excellent feedback from the people, and the people are asking for the change.
Yeah. All right. And, I think as we head into the last few weeks, what's the plan? How do you get that message out there that, you're not just saying, vote for me because I'm blue and central government is blue, but because they feel that you will be able to deliver?
Yeah, we are out meeting different groups. We are out meeting different people from all over the island, and we are also reaching out to people with the local television here on the island. We are all over the island during the day. We are meeting people and getting the message across that we want to do better for our island. We are here to serve, and we are ready to serve.
And what's your priority? If you're elected come March 3rd, what do you imagine that your council, you and your council are going to sit down and start getting to work about immediately?
Okay, the people here on the island have been asking for transparency. And part of our plan, or one of our priorities, would be to do an audit of the town council so that we can have transparency to the electorate so that they can see exactly how the funds of the council have been spent, and they can see what we have, and from there we can move on and we can start to better off our island.
Yeah. And when you think of, let's say, the end of the term, and people, let's say you were voted in, what is going to be different about San Pedro?
Well, like I said, part of what people want is to be transparent and accountable for everything that the council does. And we are planning to have everything online, have everything public, because there is nothing to hide from the electorate. Our people need to know exactly what is going on in the council. So I'm sure that people will understand and see what the work of the council has been done with their tax dollars, because it's going to be public knowledge, and we're going to publicize everything that we do.
All right, so we're heading into that final 5 minutes of the show, and it's an opportunity for you to speak directly to your voters in San Pedro and tell them about why you feel you and your team are best fit for the job.
Well, to all the voters out there, I want to ask you all to come out and vote on March 3rd for your P.U.P team. We're ready to work. We have a diversification of candidates who are ready to serve. We have the best team because we have the team with experience, the team that has been out there and listening to people. People are coming to us, asking us that they need this change. And we know that with a P.U.P government and a P.U.P town council, we can deliver for the island. We can deliver for the people that have been asking and have been neglected.
All right. Well, Waleed, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing a bit about yourself and your vision for San Pedro.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right. Yep. Okay.
Stay safe. Thank you, Belize.
All right, thank you too. And with that, we are going to be taking our first break. And when we come back, we are going to be joined by the UDP's mayoral candidate for Dangriga. So please stay tuned.